Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Cynical Marketers, episode 33. Thank you for joining us. If you're here, we're going to talk AI again this week. There's been a big rollout for ChatGPT 5 rolled out and some law changes and some things happening. So we want to talk about this stuff. We've talked about it before, and shamelessly, we're going to go back into it because
You all
we've got a
seem
lot
to
of
like
views and
it.
people like talking about AI.
Yeah.
I know.
It seems like you all
So
liked it. Why
let's
not?
talk. ChatGPT 5 just rolled out, and there's been a lot of complaints. And I just watched a video this morning. Apparently, I didn't check chat this morning yet, and it is August 12th is the day we're recording this. So I didn't check it, but I saw a TikTok video that you can now revert back to 4 if you want to.
Yes. Yes,
And
you
in
can.
your chat, you can go back and change your models. So, you know, this was supposed to be the big rollout. I think Sam Altman said this was like the Death Star coming or something was going to be this one. And this was supposed to be so great. And
It's
it just
not, though. I'm
failed
sorry.
miserably, I guess. And I don't really know why. I mean, I use chat for some stuff. I know I'm old man yelling at the clouds. I'm just not the chat or the AI evangelist that so many other people are. I think it's fine, like I've said, and it's a tool that is useful to do some things for you, but I don't think it's the end all be all of anything. And look exactly what just happened here.
I think we're going to have to make a t-shirt that says old man yelling at the clouds. Because we've made that reference now, I think in like 3 or 4 episodes. But I think ChatGPT, so the 5 version was supposed to be better in that it was more objective, not gaslighting you as much, right? That was one thing that everybody was talking about. And that it was, I think, their attempt to move away from more of that like personalized tone, but make it more just informational. Because I think people were really leaning into, the chat telling them how awesome they are. And I have tried it because we've been working on some copy for a website and I find it unbearable. Like it does not remember anything. It doesn't remember things that it said in the same chat window, like without starting a new session.
Yeah.
It continues to fail when processing data. It's kept, I've asked it to like review some copy and just give it a little bit of a different tone. And then it kept giving me code back. Like just, I don't really know what to do with that. And so I have had a very difficult time with it over the last couple of days. That's been my own personal experience. It just doesn't seem to be working. I think the hype was that it was supposed to be cleaner, faster, no fluff, as ChatGPT likes to say.
My God.
Yeah. I don't know why it loves that phrase. No fluff. It's in everything. That's how you know ChatGPT wrote it.
I know when I see it. That's the one. That's one of the ones. And there's a really interesting, there's a Wikipedia page that's out there now. And I think I sent you this video, but there's a Wikipedia page you can go find. And this is our high level of production. We're not going to pull it up for anyone to see this if you're going to watch it.
Y'all can find it.
YouTube. You'll find it. But it's people who are compiling all of the signs of people using ChatGPT. And it's really interesting, actually. It's far beyond the M dash and the emojis. It's an interesting page to go look at. But I also think that is very funny that there's people doing that and people want to pretend like they don't use it for stuff. But then everyone is out here to tell me how chat is taking over the world and we're all going to lose our jobs for it. But then on the same hand, everyone's like, no, I don't use it.
Oh, we're all
funny thing. But
I think we're all using it. We're all
just
using it for different reasons.
I think it's funny. It was supposed to stop gaslighting and the relationship stuff. Like you can find on Reddit, there's some interesting pages too of people who track, like I saw this, and maybe it was LinkedIn lunatics. Cause I think it was somebody who was complaining on LinkedIn about with the new 5.0, she felt like her boyfriend dumped her, cause like, she's like, I had this great relationship with Chat 4.0 and now who is this guy even? It's somebody and you're just like, man, I'm like, and she's serious.
You lose faith in humanity is what you
people who think they have this relationship.
But that's
and we talked about this in a previous episode that people use it for therapy.
Right.
Right.
And this is what I think this is what was so problematic with it. And so many therapists have called it out in the past is the way that ChatGPT would respond to you, regardless if you were using it for like personal use or professional use, whatever you set to it, it would validate you. And so it would say things like, what a great idea. How wonderful that, whatever like patronizing statements to validate you. And we have seen, and we've talked about this in another episode here, a person we know, we interact with, a professional that, we've worked with in the past was like, I love it when ChatGPT tells me how awesome I am. And we were both like, you need ChatGPT. You need ChatGPT to tell you how great you are. Guess what? It's going to tell you how great you are no matter what you tell it. So like you can tell it the craziest stuff and it will be like, what a great idea. So I think they were trying to step away from that, realizing that people were leaning into it for personal use more than professional. Again, we talked about it, right? Number one use of AI in 2025 is therapy and companionship. Yeah. So I think that, OpenAI and others, we're trying to step away from that.
I'm sure that they're trying to address it because I think that's going to lead to regulation for them faster than anything on marketing, sales, copy, manipulation of people to get them to buy things,
Well, and it started in Illinois,
if you
right?
are doing therapy for people. Yeah, Illinois just passed a law, right? Like it's barred here in Illinois. You can't.
Yeah. So so we just did the Wellness and Oversight Act, which Pritzker just signed a couple of days ago. I think last week sometime. And it's basically, for those of you guys that may not know this, in Illinois, our governor just passed a law that basically says that for therapeutic purposes, so as a therapist, as a counselor, as a psychiatrist, you cannot use AI for anything that is aiding patient care. So, you cannot use it. You can use it to schedule appointments. You can use it to, I don't know. You can use it for administrative things. You cannot, however, use it for aiding your therapy journey, like with a patient. And so I really found that, I found that profound because we talked about this, Mike. I went to a doctor's appointment recently and was asked if I gave permission for AI to record my conversation with my physician for training purposes. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't consent to this because there's been multiple cases that have come out where AI will listen on a doctor-patient conversation, whether it be therapy or a physician or, whatever, primary care, whatever doctor you go to, and it will misunderstand. So if you say things like diabetes runs in my family, it will be like patient has diabetes. Like it will completely mess up your chart and there's no way to like revert it. Wild. What was that?
Patient is a diabetic runner.
Right.
Yeah. Patient is a diabetic runner.
Yeah.
You just said too, like you were telling me yesterday, you talked to a doctor who uses AI to update his charts and, and post he's updating his records and charting with that stuff. And you're like,
right.
Do people say that's okay? I am always fascinated, not even on the HIPAA side, and I'm not a HIPAA expert, but, on the medical side, privacy, but even on the business side too, you have people who are willingly logging into ChatGPT and handing over all kinds of sensitive info to any of these AI platforms. If you're a business, they're uploading their financial docs and saying, hey, analyze this for me. And you're like, hey, you shouldn't upload those documents into this third-party system, right? Like there's no security on that.
We've talked about this because,
therapy, like you're telling this thing, what I assume if you're going to use it for therapy, you're probably explaining some pretty personal things to this bot.
Yep.
It's kept like, people are like, oh, I'm not giving you my email because I don't want you to email market to me. You're just going to spam me. But let me log into ChatGPT and tell it about a fight I had with my wife yesterday.
Or
this is why too. Like I always try to have the highest thought of people and humanity, but people are so friggin' stupid.
Yeah. Fair.
I said it in Men in Black years and years ago. Tommy Lee Jones said it. The person is smart. People are stupid. So.
Yeah. It is.
So
I mean,
true.
it's.
You see, like individuals are like, "Oh, I'm too smart for this," but then they're logging in and they're like, "You just uploaded like 5 years of financial documents for your company and asked
Yeah.
it to
Yeah.
analyze it." You're like, "It's just so fast and convenient and easy." And like, yeah, but Sam Altman has that info now.
Right. Well, and Sam Altman came
And
out like
whoever
2
owns
weeks
him.
ago, right? And said, by the way, anything you put in ChatGPT can legally be used in court. So like that information is publicly out there available. And then if you've been, and people have been showing this on TikTok, if you actually share your ChatGPT chats. So if I share, because you are able to share whatever pages with somebody else, right? Whatever you share, once that shareable link gets created, can be searched. And people have searched certain topics and found other people ChatGPT conversations readily available online. So I find that
Google
fascinating.
Google is indexing.
Yeah,
Google
it's
is indexing
those
chats.
shareable links. Yep.
Yeah.
So if I share my chat with you, it will index it and it will know like that's a shareable link, that's a public link. And anybody, if you have a few keywords, you can search for it.
Can show up in search.
And you can show up in search. And I absolutely find it fascinating because you and I had talked about this because I said like there's so many people out there who are like uploading their credit reports to ChatGPT and asking it to analyze it in ways to like improve credit. And I was like, that would be so cool. But then I would have to give my personal information, all of it, to this platform. It's not like you can like black out any of it or, I'm just like, I just can't. I don't understand how people do this.
People are just so willingly giving up their info. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But then on some things, they're like, no, I will not be tracked by the government or you businesses who, the algorithms, they're tracking me on Facebook. I clicked on a website and now look at the ads I'm being shown. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They're upset about that.
What else would you like to know about me?
Yeah.
Hey, chat. Hey, here's my bank account info, my social security, and my mother's maiden name. Can you give me suggestions for 25 possible passwords to use on everything? Don't share those with anybody.
Don't give those away. Yeah. I find it fascinating because I mean, obviously, and we have said this before. I mean, we got some feedback on TikTok about how we should get on board with AI and how we're so negative and whatnot.
Yes, people didn't like him. More than one is like, that guy is confidently wrong.
Yes. You've been told that a couple of times. Yeah.
I've been told that before. Sure.
I find it fascinating because people are like, how can you guys be in marketing and not use AI? And look, we use it. What we're saying though is there's a difference between me asking AI to write me an email subject line and me telling it all of my personal identifiable information. And
my wife is angry at me, and what should I say to her?
Right.
I don't know what to say to my wife. I
just find
Can
it fascinating.
you help me with this?
I find it fascinating.
I don't get it.
But it's taken over every aspect. Like we've seen AI interviews, which I heard rumors, and I haven't looked this up, so I don't know it for factual information. But I think starting next year, Pritzker in Illinois, so our governor in Illinois, has said that he is going to pass a similar law about use of AI in hiring practices because we've seen that increase. And I think they were saying how, that's problematic because it's reading people's resumes. And we've always known there's been something in the background, like, looking for keywords on your resume, assessing your resume. But now we've gotten to a point where like AIs are interviewing people. AIs are calling people for interviews, right? Like and recording responses. And I think they're finding some obvious problematic things with that. So I think there's going to be some regulation around it as well. But it's just been absolutely fascinating to watch.
I am skeptical of it because I have tried all of them. And I do a lot of video editing. So I've tried all of those tools looking for one of these promises that's like, oh, all you got to do is just upload this video and it does it for you. And you're like, nothing works as promised out there. Yeah. There is nothing that does. Yeah. And maybe you can manipulate it enough to get there, but it doesn't work that way. And a friend of mine on LinkedIn he's been trying to vibe code an app. And it was maybe a month ago or so, he announced it and he's like, look at how the progress I've made so far. And then just in the last couple of days, he's like, I'm going to quit. He's like, this vibe coding thing is not really a thing. He's like, it couldn't handle errors. It kept making the same error. You would work for hours and hours and hours to try to get it to understand this one simple thing, like to change a button on something.
Yeah.
And it kept reverting back and doing weird stuff. You know, I'm like, yeah, I know. I see that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's my thing. And then I'm skeptical too about anything that gets popular on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And if people start changing their job descriptions and they're AI gurus and stuff, like, there's a problem here. Something's not real.
Right.
So,
and we talked about that. We did that episode we did that months ago. We talked about the ridiculous hype of AI and how AI could do no wrong, you know, and we got a lot of heat for that, at least on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, that we were just, you know, so negative and get on board with AI. And we're like, no, we're on board. We get certain things. What we're trying to do is raise some red flags that we have people in our professional network who are claiming that they, you know, their best working relationship is with an AI tool because you can't handle criticism and you need this fake thing to validate every thought that you have and tell you how brilliant you are. Not everything I think about is brilliant, and I don't want anybody to tell me it is. Like, I don't need that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just interesting how all of a sudden you realize that like people needed this personal validation that you would never think was like necessary in a professional environment. And then the way that it's expanded and the use of it, you know, obviously they're talking about, you know, therapy stuff in Illinois. And I hope that actually kind of expands to other states. I know there's a couple other states that are working on that. As somebody who is in therapy, I would be terrified if my, you know, therapist was like recording things with AI and transcribing our sessions.
Not that it's wrong. This is
then,
what I don't get
and then using that to, you know, recommend treatments or whatever. Like, it is just, you know, these tools are not trained. And there's been a ton of therapists, we've mentioned this in other episodes, talking about how, you know, ChatGPT was designed to validate you. And so if you lean into like narcissistic qualities and different things, it will just continue to validate your very, you know, like dangerous behaviors, you know, or alarming behaviors, because it doesn't know the difference. It's not an intelligence tool. It is a large you know, we keep saying it's an LLM. It's a large language model. So,
yeah.
You know, I'm so glad that
positive reinforcement has never been something that I've ever received at any point in my life. So like when chat was starting to do that, you're like anytime someone does it too, I'm always suspicious if someone says something nice to me, like, what do you want?
I think that's our generation, Mike.
Yeah.
I think that shows our age.
I don't believe you.
You know, I think that shows our age and how we were raised, and the generation we were raised by, you know, wasn't overly complimentary to anything that we did in our lives. But like, I think, you know, you get into this AI stuff and you're like, I don't freaking understand. I'm so glad though that there are laws starting to come around this. I think that therapy use of AI is so dangerous. So I'm glad that, you know, I'm glad that it's
one of those things when people are like, you need to be on board with it. And it's not that I am not, but there are a couple of things that I think are coming for AI that are going to limit its impact on the universe that we're telling. And one of them is the regulation. And I think regulation is coming in lots of different forms and ways. They don't even know what to do with it yet or how to regulate it, but it's coming.
Yeah.
You know, regulation is going to hamper it down. The cost of it, the cost effectiveness is going to be a problem. OpenAI lost $5 billion last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before they did the image gen stuff.
Yeah.
And I think this is I have a conspiracy on this, the crappiness level. Like if I'm only on a $20 a month. I'm not even on the free app. Do pay $20 a month for it. Right. So there you go, people. I am trying it.
Yeah.
But to me, the quality has gone down significantly in the last several months. I think they're training people to get them used to that because there has to be a gate somewhere coming in. They can't lose $5 billion a year.
Right.
There has to be a point where they're going to start making money. So there's something coming. I think something's coming here that's going to hamper this. And I think Sam Altman just had a tweet recently too, where he said, we're about to enter the fast fashion era of AI. right? Where he's saying that it's so easy and people are going to create so much stuff that there's just going to be a flood in the market of crap. Like in the fast fashion world, there's just so much stuff now that it's overwhelmed it.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think it's a good tool.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to be this thing that everyone is telling me. And number one, I don't think that, because whenever you're just going to tell me that, and then you probably have a vested interest in that turning out to be that way, that's why I'm skeptical about it. Everyone telling you that this is the wave of the future has a vested interest in that happening.
Yeah. And I mean, it was interesting it was interesting too, because the and we never get political on this podcast, but the Big Beautiful Bill had a thing in there about a 10-year
right,
hold, or whatever the correct verbiage is. I'm going to mess this up, and I'm sure somebody's going to call me dumb in comments.
Right.
But
moratorium
they were,
or whatever,
right?
Like
they were saying 10 years of don't touch this, don't regulate this thing. And, everybody was up in arms about that. Right? Everybody wrote, regardless of where you stood politically, everybody was like, "Ooh, no. Let's take that out." And they did. And I think that should tell everybody kind of where, people are aware of potential dangers of this, and this regulation coming. And I personally, I am glad that a lot of it is happening in Illinois. There's a lot of discussion about it. There's a lot of things starting to happen. Because as a mom, as somebody that is like you said, we don't just live in our little marketing bubble on LinkedIn, right? We're people who have lives and children, and, it's scary stuff. All you hear about is super scary stuff. So to think that AI is transcribing my medical records, no, thank you. I have seen what ChatGPT does when I tell it to rewrite a sentence. I don't want it transcribing my medical records. I'm just saying,
right?
The
hallucination. That was supposed to be one of those things for Chat 5. Was they said it's going to hallucinate less. Not that it won't just make stuff up. Hey, we're improving this. It's going to make up answers for you less.
Right.
And I don't understand why you trust this at all. People are like, well, Google sucks too. I'm like, yeah, but you know it, so you don't trust it as much.
Right. I love how that's the argument.
And everyone's like, well, I just work straight up with chat now. I search only in there. I'm like,
yeah. And we've seen things come up with chat we've seen things come up with chat that are wrong. We've seen now features where you could add your website if you're selling product. You could add tag your product in ChatGPT so it shows up in searches. It's actively, and Mike, you say this all the time, and you say it way better than I can paraphrase it, but all these platforms, all of them exist so that they can make money, right? So the paid aspect is going to come soon for advertising your products and all of those things. And so it's going to be interesting once that happens, how that information then how that influences the information you get back.
You're going to sell through chat. What's Alexa, what is the fastest way I could have the Chinese steal and copy my product and start selling it on Amazon? Yeah. Chat, can you tell me what's the fastest way we can have our products copied by foreign competitors? So,
it's going to be great.
There we go, everybody. Tell me how stupid I am, because you love it. You love AI.
Yep.
If you've made it to this point, it's the greatest thing ever, right? What's it done for you? What I haven't seen yet either, and here's my last thought on this for now on AI. Show me the friggin' success story. Where has any success stories been of anyone who said, we fired all of our people and replaced it with AI, and look at our company taking off now? Where are the success stories of anyone blowing up their business because they're leaning hard into AI? Where's it happening?
I haven't seen one yet. Nope, not yet. But tell us we're wrong. Go ahead and tell us we're wrong. We love the engagement.
I know. I'm stupid. I'm wrong. I get it. Sure.
At
least comment and tell me I'm an idiot for the engagement.
That's what I said. We love the engagement. Tell us how wrong we are.
Thank you for tuning in. If you made it to the end here, everybody, we appreciate it. Another week down, winding up the summer, but we will be back again next week with another hard-hitting episode of the Cynical Marketers. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.